Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Karnes, founder of Empowered Hours Club, and I help women create unstoppable momentum and revenue in their business and life while freeing up their time so that they can enjoy the fruits of their success. And I'm super excited to have my friend Lisa here with me today, and we're going to talk a little bit about path of least resistance. But before we get there, Lisa, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would love to. Thank you so much, Cindy. I am Lisa Bouta. I am an intuitive coach and an environmental energy healer, which is dowsing. So I clear energy in homes and spaces. I work with women to create a successful life of fun, freedom, and love. It's always like a trippy thing to say fun, freedom, and love. I help facilitate their transformation by clearing blocks and fears using a process for success.
And I love it. I so love it. I've been just so blessed to be connected with Lisa and the things that I've been able to create with her guidance of clearing blocks and that word freedom, fun, and success are those words. So, like I said, today we're going to talk a little bit about path of least resistance. Most of us have heard take the path of least resistance. Take the path of least resistance. But what does that really mean? So, Lisa, when you hear take the path of least resistance, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's super interesting that you're talking about this because the first time you ever said it to me, and in my kind of background of doing, I've always had a job and everything. Every time I heard that or someone said it, it was like to be lazy. That's what it meant at first. And I was like
Oh,
going, yeah, because I was like going, well, no, if you do that, it means you're not really working.
huh.
Yeah. As I've gotten older, of course, that's not right. That that was completely
Right.
false. That was a false statement.
Right.
And so really truly getting into what I do in the world, the path of least resistance is actually the way to go because it gives you momentum. So the anything that I am currently doing. So for instance, I wanted to do energy clearing for people. And I thought, oh, how am I going to do that? And, because I thought, oh, that'll be hard. It really wasn't. It truly was it came up kind of I don't know if it was in a conversation or a dream, could have been either one or both. And I was like, okay, well, let me see. And then no joke, the next day, someone walked into work and said, hey, do you do energy clearing? Because I know you do dowsing. And I went, are you kidding me? And that path of least resistance, it came up and then literally, to me, the universe said, oh, here you go. And someone walked in and now she's a client and I do energy clearing for her, but truly on almost a weekly basis. And it's amazing because she's doing a lot of healing work in the world. So I'm
Yeah.
clearing her energy so she can help people.
Yeah.
And that was the path of least resistance.
I love it.
Yeah, it just was like, that's what came up, that's what I'm gonna do. And it's been working ever since. So
Right.
that's been fabulous.
Awesome. Yes, I'm looking because I looked up Wikipedia, what is the path of least resistance? And it's just what you said. The path of least resistance is the physical or metaphorical pathway that provides the least resistance to forward motion by a given object or entity among a set of alternative paths. So the path of least resistance, it's the path that feels the easiest
Yeah.
for me as well. So it's like, we all have lots of goals, dreams, things that we want to create in our life, or things that we're told that we should do. But yet sometimes it feels like we're pushing a mountain on our own. And that feels opposite of passive release resistance. but it's really, there's many different ways to solve a problem, as we all know. So if we take a step back, and the thing that comes to us, because you talk a lot about tapping into your intuition, the
Yep.
thing that comes to us, acknowledging that thing, and then take action. And that's what it is for me as well, is taking the path of least resistance. Great. So can you give us an example of a time that you were fighting the path of least resistance? You were actually trying to push that mountain on your own, and how did that feel?
So, and actually this, I'll actually go back to, a job. So I worked at a company for 18 years in my younger days, and it it physically took me, just by the time I was ready to leave, thinking I was stuck there, really like stuck. I would go to work. I'm not kidding. I would cry on the way to work. I was just like, it was so hard. It was hard to go. It was hard to be with the people who were there, even though most of the people I actually really liked.
Yeah.
Because usually people are what I like. It's not necessarily the job.
Right.
And it was getting to the point where I was like, this is just not what I want to be doing. This is not it. And it got so hard. And so like I couldn't move forward in anything in that company due to some circumstances and that kind of thing. And I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do? And honestly, I had had a conversation with my manager. She just went, you know, I get that you can't move forward in anything. She goes, if you want to start looking for something else, she goes, I'll make sure that it's okay. And if you need to take, a longer lunch to go interview, you just let me know and I'll make sure that that's okay. So she actually, once I actually spoke about it,
Yeah.
someone who, it wasn't technically someone who could help me get another job, but it was, she had an understanding of it. So then I literally, within like a couple weeks, interviewed for another job and quit that one.
Yeah.
And honestly got another job making 10 grand more than I was.
Yeah. She
So
opened up the path for you.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
And I do believe that communication had a big part of that, because
Yes.
I wasn't communicating anything to anyone, thinking I'm stuck and I have nowhere to go. That was my
Yes.
full mindset. And then I finally just kind of blah that all over my manager.
Yes.
She was so wonderful. And she was like, I'll handle it here for you. And then I got another job making 10 grand more a year.
That's awesome. Absolutely. That you hit on a couple different things for sure. As we talk about too, when we're tapping into our intuition, part of that is visualization. And what I mean by visualization, it's like, can we see it? And if we can see, but part of seeing it with our eyes and our mind is actually letting the world know what we're after, letting the universe know, telling our friends, telling our colleagues, telling a manager that there's something here is in our way that's keep preventing us from moving forward. And they have an idea of how to move us. And she opened up a path for you that was the path of least resistance, which then catapulted you into something else.
Absolutely.
And for me, I can tell you as an entrepreneur, I've been at, I say 7 years this month, because I had an event 7 years ago this particular month, a health event that actually I felt like the universe was tapping me on the shoulder. I didn't know it at the time, but now I say that was the tap on the shoulder that says we need to look at pivoting, that you've got what you were at the right spot for what you needed. Now it's time to look at something else. But so in that entrepreneurship, I would hear things like, you need a business plan. You need to start picking up the phone, calling everybody, telling everybody what you're doing, and start selling your products and services and your proof of concept. And that didn't happen. And I would be like, this feels hard and heavy. So perhaps I'm not meant to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with me, so I had a lot of that negative talk come through my head. But what I know now today, 7 years later, is it wasn't the right time for that business plan. Because today I am so ready to write my business plan. So it was all about when that feels hard, that feels to me is like I'm pushing, I'm being told this is what I need to do, go out and do it. It's not happening. I feel it's because my beliefs and my desires were out of not aligned, which then created a lot of resistance. But taking the step back, tapping into my intuition, taking a visual of breathing through it. What is it that I really want? Do I believe it? Then all of a sudden things, I'm connected with people like you, other people in our circle that then have helped me through it. And the path then starts to open up, or I get that download of this is the next thing that you should work on. And when they take action, then it opens up that path. And it's not so hard, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it felt hard and icky and oh my gosh, and all this negative stuff that I'm not meant to do this, what I'm doing, but I know now today I am. So what now? Let's flip the switch.
Okay.
So in your job, so that was a example of when somebody opened up the path for you. They said, "Hey, gave you permission to go do something else," and it did, and it worked out for you. So now, when you're whether it's in your personal life or your business or whatever it is, when you're on that path of least resistance and you're moving forward, how does that feel?
Oh, it's completely amazing. And so working truly collaborating and working with you, Cindy, has been the path of least resistance.
Yes.
I have even in my business, the business I do, my classes and coaching and everything, it's all been okay. But I knew myself. I'm aware of things for me and how they work. And don't get me wrong, stuff changes, but I knew I needed to be in collaboration. I needed to be in collaboration with people that I can actually then, it's like bringing stuff together that it just makes it easier for me. And as much as I could do stuff by myself, I don't actually like doing stuff by myself. So when I met you, I had no idea what was going to happen.
Right.
No idea. And through growing our friendship and even growing in our businesses, we realized that this collaboration is actually perfect. So this was organic, and
yes,
it just was. We met. We started. I actually think we met at networking. I think that's how we met, and then organically it just started to grow.
Yeah.
We'd see each other at different networking. We talked about different things, and it was just like, okay, I actually think she has, something that her and I could actually be together on. And I know when I first met you, you were not doing what you're doing today.
Yeah.
And neither was I.
Right.
Neither was I. I mean, as much as I've been coaching for 20 years, that's not what I was in the networking group for.
Right.
So yeah, so this whole collaboration for you and I has been it's actually just been so organic and so easy, and seriously,
Fun.
so much fun.
We have a lot of fun. Yes, I love the words that you used, organic. And yes, I'm just going to attach up. I don't remember the date. When you were telling your story, I was thinking, ooh, it would be nice to figure out how long we've known each other, because it's been a few years.
It has been.
And we met in a networking group. I think that you might have been subbing for somebody. And then through different events, you invited me to your networking group, and next thing you know, I remember saying to myself one day, I'm like, okay, Lisa, I'm sorry, but you can't get rid of me now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to do something. I don't know what it is, but we're going to be working together. And like you said, we were completely doing different things at the time. We were each trying to figure things out, and that was fine. It was like, but what happened? Telling the universe, collaboration. I'm with you. I'm all about collaborating. It's like I want to be a master of my domain.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I want to,
absolutely.
I want to do my jam. I don't, and there's many different things that I can offer, but I really want to offer what my expertise at, what I'm good at, and then collaborate with other entrepreneurs to build a community that just serves, and our impact will grow. And I agree. That is the fun of the path of least resistance.
And honestly, that's the nailhead right there. It's fun when
Yes.
there's no resistance. It's like, oh my gosh. And a lot of times you kind of go, I don't think it's supposed to be like this.
It's like,
yes, it is.
Yes, it is. That's because we're taught you got to work hard, push through the hard times, push, get down. What's wrong with you? Yes. And yeah, I mean, there is some taking action is required. That's where people get caught up. We're going to get into a little our manifesting, right? They say, well, if it's just so easy to say, I want to be a millionaire, we'd all be millionaires. No, what you're missing a few key elements, and there is something about taking some action to get you there. But the thing is, the action does not have to be hard. It can be easy and it can be fun. So exactly. Is there anything else that comes up to you that's regard of path of least resistance, or anything that's coming up for you today?
Well, I find that this is such a great conversation to have, because most people, to me, would be like going, well, I don't really know. I don't really understand what you mean by path of least resistance. And honestly, I feel like people really should take a little stock of what they want in their life. What, like you've said, line up what you want in your desires and see if you're not aligned, or if you are aligned, and then go from there. And action is a big part of it, but again, actions do not have to be hard. And some might be more than you had planned. But that's okay. There's a lot of actions I've done where I'm like going, oh, well, this was actually more than I thought it was going to be. But that's all it was. Nothing like, oh my God, this is super hard. When I find I'm trying to do something that's really hard for myself, I end up stopping anyway. And I'm like, oh, I should look to see who is actually supposed to be doing this for me. So that's another thing to look at, is maybe someone's supposed to be doing it for you.
Yes, because I'm also a firm believer that we're not solopreneurs. I know some people, use that. I stopped using that term. We're entrepreneurs, because we have people around. Even if you say, Cindy, I mean, I've heard people say, I have no family support. I don't have friends, whatever. I'm pretty isolated, small community, whatever that is. The internet, and there are hundreds of thousands of groups, supportive groups that you can get involved with, even on the internet. That is some of the beauty. But definitely, and I do want to touch on hard versus stretch. So there is a big difference. It's like, well, yes, okay, social media is hard. As a business owner, I have clients that say, I hate social media. And so we really dig down, what is it that you hate about that? Because there's many different ways to solve a problem. And so stretching ourselves may feel hard, to get out there, but it's like, if we don't get out and be visible as an entrepreneur, nobody's going to know that we exist. So that does cause a problem, right? So you may say, well, that's the path of resistance, because you're telling me to be on social media, but there's many different ways to do that. Or sales, right? Entrepreneurs did not get in business. Most of us did not get in business to be the top salesperson on the planet. That
Right.
isn't our goal. But if we don't grow and we don't believe that we have a product and service and we can impact the lives that we want to impact, and we're not out there, then and we're saying we're not salesmen, that's where our our beliefs and our desires are out of alignment. And then it feels like we're pushing that mountain again. So there is that fine line of what's hard, what's fearful, and what is stretching us.
Stretching.
And
Yeah.
so really fine. That's where Lisa and I, working with our clients, we really help you discover what that is for you. That's when we talk about transforming lives. We talk about strategic planning, tuning into your intuition, seeing what it is that you want to see, do, believe what it is that you want to believe, and then let's achieve it. Anything else, Lisa, before we close for the day?
No, I did no. In this conversation, I mean, seriously, we'll have to have another one to continue because there's so much with this.
Yeah.
There's just so much that we could go on about, truly. So love this conversation. Love spending time with you, of course, and having these conversations, which is always a treat. So, and I just thank you for being here. I appreciate that. So
Back
how
at
about
you,
you?
my friend. Yes, I saw Lisa. We are connected in many different ways, energetically, vibrationally. We spend lots of time talking. So it's just a joy, a pleasure. I love to see what we're creating. The community, the space that we're holding for women is super exciting to me. So definitely feel free to follow Lisa on her YouTube channel, which is Lisa Bouta.
Yes.
Lisa Bouta. Just her name. And
Yep.
mine is right now, it's Empowered Hours Club. That is the YouTube channel. We will have our contact information in the description of our video. You can connect with us on social media, however it is that you want to connect with us. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy this conversation, please like, comment below, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. For that, bye for now.
Bye.